In this video, I'm going to show you all the steps in order to complete exercise A, combining images, using Pixlr.com. First thing we need to do is find our images to actually use. So for our class, we're going to open up shalmont.schoology.com, find our art course. You're going to scroll down here, we're in materials, go over here to where it says Project 3 Surrealism Digital Collage. Click that one open. These are all of our handouts. It gives you the link to get to the editor, also the Padlet that has all of this information on. We'll keep scrolling down here because at the bottom of the page it says Exercise A. Now this is the actual assignment where you're going to submit your final images to. For you guys, there will be a little submit button over here. I'm not a student, so it doesn't show up on mine, but it will on yours. If I go back, there's a file here that says Images for Exercise A. That's what we need to open up because we need to download these first. It has an example down here. If we open it up, this is what our image is going to look like at the end, except yours will not say Teacher Sample. So again, we will go back, click on any of these files, and we need to right-click. In order to right-click using a Chromebook, you can tap once using 2 fingers on the touchpad, or press the Alt key, A-L-T, and tap once, and it will bring up this little side menu here. You will find Save Image As. It will open up. Mine automatically opens up to your downloads. If yours does not, just click the download file over here. You can leave the file name the same, and then just click Save. Then I will go back and do another one. Right click again, save this image of Otis the cat, go back a third time, and now I need the building that I'm going to put in the middle ground. I will save that image as well, and now I have all 3 images that I need. And I can open up Pixlr over here, Pixlr.com. There are these little double arrows down here. If we click, it brings me down. I have 2 options, Pixel Editor or Pixel Express. If I keep scrolling down, it gives Launch Web App. You want to be on the Pixlr Editor. It gives us much more control over our images, and you'll click the Launch Web App button. And this is the main layout of Pixlr. We are going to start by creating a new image. You can leave it untitled for now, but in the presets, use the little drop down arrow here and pick 640 by 480. You'll click OK, and it opens up a screen for us. This will be where our final image gets put all together in. We now need to begin opening up our images that we just downloaded. You can see them all right down here. If I go to File, Open Image, I am going to start with Clouds, which is this one down here, and I'm going to click Open. Now I need to select all of this to bring into my untitled piece, so I'm going to go to Edit and select all. You can also do the shortcut Control-A. These shortcuts, the more of them you learn, the faster you'll actually move through this project, but you can still always just open up the menu and select all if you need it. So now that I have Select All, I'm going to copy, Control-C. And then now that I have saved it, or I have copied it, it's saved to my little clipboard, which is the little computer memory where we can copy things to. I can close this. I don't have to worry about saving it. And when I go to Edit and Paste, my image is still there. It saved it even though I closed out of the other file. So now I have my first layer here with my background. It fills it up nicely. That one's all set. I'm ready to open up my next image. And I want to open up the building this time. So open. Now I want to use the lasso tool. All of our tools are located over in our toolbox. The lasso tool is this little red lasso here. You're going to click it. If we go up to the options bar, I want to change it to a polygonal. If you hold over it, it'll light up polygonal lasso tool. And I'm going to change the feather to a 1. Just type it in on your keyboard. And click outside there and it'll stay. And now I am going to go around the building at all of the corners. I'm going to click and then I can just move my mouse over to the next area. We use the polygonal because this one gives us nice straight lines. You can see how it's a straight line. If I try to do this by hand, my line would be pretty wobbly. But by going around with the polygonal tool, you can get perfectly straight lines that you would not be able to achieve just by using the freeform lasso tool. So I'm going to go all around. It should be 5 sides to get all of it, including the ground underneath. I want to make sure I have the street as well. And once I touch back to the beginning, it gets these little marching ants, those little selection ants going all the way around my picture. Now if I were to go to edit and copy, I'm just copying the portion that is selected. Again, once it's copied, I can exit out of here, and I don't need to save. And then I can go right back over here and paste. And now my building is in the same picture in a different layer than my background. Now I don't want my building floating above the bottom of my picture, so a quick little jot over to Tools, find the Move tool, click him, and then just click and pull this guy down to where you want to be. Now for me, I've noticed that I have a little gap over here because I don't quite fill up my picture. If I want to fix that, a little quick thing here, Free Transform, also known as Control-T. It gives me a bounding box around the outside of my image. If I click any of these squares and drag them, I just automatically change the size. In order to save it at that size, I just have to click Enter. And I still have a little wedge here because I didn't do it properly. So go back over to Free Transform, try it one more time, and Enter. And there we go. Now I've filled my whole background, or my whole picture up with the background and the building. Now I need to open up my third image. And Otis right here, nice sleepy kitty. Alright, so now that I have Otis, I don't want to use my polygonal lasso tool because Otis is not a geometric shape. The building and the ground work really well because those were straight edges. Now that I am into this as the cat, I really need to have it much more controlled. So I'm going to go to my lasso tool again, but I need to now make it the freehand lasso tool instead of the polygonal. And this time I'm going to change the feather to a 2 instead. So now we just need to go carefully around him. If you're finding that he's really hard to see, you can always click zoom here. And as long as it has a little plus sign in the magnifying glass, it will make him bigger. Now you don't want to make him so big that you can't see everything, because then you can't get all of your edges. So my box, I'm just going to stretch a little bit more. And there we go. Now I can fit all of Otis inside the picture. And I'll go back to my lasso, make sure this is still correct, still a 2. I want to make sure this box right here is checked. And now I'm going to carefully click and drag around Otis. Now it's okay if you are not perfect at this part. You just need to get the general idea. You can always add to or subtract from it later, and I will show you that once I get my first kind of pass around him. I do want to try to avoid getting too much of the background and just get the cat in all of his regalness all the way around. Just like before, when we get back to the beginning, it'll automatically select for me. And going around. Now if I purposely like miss an ear, if I just keep going and going all the way around and I bring it back, and he's all selected. Well, now I've missed an ear, so what do? Do I have to start the whole selection over? No, I don't. It's actually much easier than that. If I want to add to my selection, as long as I'm still in the lasso tool, I just press the Shift key, and now the little lasso tool has a little plus sign next to it. So now I can just click and drag around the area I didn't get before, and say now I get some extra here. I can go around And just kind of loop it here, bring it back to the beginning, and look, now I have his ear. But now I have background that I don't want to. So in order to get rid of stuff, I just press Control, and now I have a little minus sign next to my lasso, and I can click and get rid of this extra background that I don't really need. And again, there we go, all back. So now I have Otis in all of his glory, and just like before, Edit, Copy, and then I can close this. No, I don't need to save. And now I'm going to go Edit and Paste. Every time we paste, it becomes a new layer over here. The neat thing about layers is I can click here and move my layers, which is exactly what I want to do, because I don't want Otis sitting in the middle of my picture. I want to move Otis so it looks like he is sitting on the top of my building. And I'm going to need to shrink him a little bit because he's a little bit too big. So again, free transform. I can shrink him down to size. Let's do something like that. Try that for right now. I can see him sitting on top of my building. Okay. If you find that you have accidentally added too many extra background bits with Otis, you can go through, find your eraser right over here. But first I'm going to zoom in so that I can see him a little bit better. Scroll up and over. You can also drag yourself around here in the navigation. But if I want to take my eraser and kind of smooth out maybe some of the bumps over here, you can see the reason why it's making it lighter is because my brush is a soft brush instead of a hard brush, so I'll move it back to that. The hardness is now 100. If I click over here, I want to keep the opacity at 100, so it's erasing everything, not just a little bit. And then now I can go back through and just kind of trim any of these areas where I think he needs a bit of a haircut because my lasso got something I didn't want it to. If I scroll over here, I don't really like this bit. I can kind of trim that back, even them out a little bit, smooth off if I have any really jagged, pointy parts to make it look a little bit more natural. I can then zoom out. If I want to make it smaller, I press Shift, and now instead of having a plus sign on my magnifying glass, I have a negative sign, and click a couple of times, and that'll zoom me back out. And now I have Otis sitting on top of my building, and you are very tempted to think that you are done, but you are not done just yet. Now that we have all the layers in the correct way and Otis is cleaned up the way that we want him to, we need to save this. So you cannot click out of this before you save. You have to go to File and Save. Now we don't want to save it as untitled. You want to go back through and write Exercise A. JPEGs, if you keep saving them over and over again, actually lose quality over time. So we don't want to save as a JPEG. We want to click down here and click Ping. Ping images save the same way every single time. There's no changing. It's all saved exactly the way you had it the very first time you saved. It won't lose quality or lose pixels every time you save like JPEGs do. Click OK. And it opens up to save to your computer. I'm going to have you guys save to my downloads. And then click Save. Okay, so my image is saved. You will then open up a new tab, find your drive, and I want to say a new file upload. And if I go, my downloads already popped up because that's what I was in last. I can now click this guy and I can click open. So it is uploading that. It is uploaded for me. I can click on it. I can see the image. Beautiful image of Otis sitting on top of the building. Now that I have Otis in my drive, you can look on it on any computer even when you're not in here. I can exit out this over here, and when I go to my page, I'll go back to exercise A. This is my Shalmon account again. Exercise A will open up, and this time when you put in a submit, there'll be a little submissions button over here. You will submit that and you will attach that file from your drive, and I can check it out there without you ever having to print it out and submit it to me. Makes it a little bit faster. Also, if you want any of the instructions that I went through on this video, if you go to exercise A, attached is the handout that lists out all of the steps. It'll download it for you. You click over here, you can open it up. It's just a Word document, and it goes through step by step all the things that I did. It even highlights for you guys any of the edit or copy or any of the instructions, the actual words you need to remember exactly. It is all there for you. Hopefully this will be helpful. Good luck!